Hi, I'm Sonya Dove, and I'm here at the Wella studio here in California. And beautiful model Miranda, and I chatted with her this morning, and she has virgin hair, which is very, very rare. So what I did, we had a consultation earlier. Beautiful eye colour, really incredible. Never had colour, but she's got a little bit of warmth in there. So what I talked about was sharing with Miranda our Insta Vintage trend. So she's going to have a new trend. Insta Vintage, what does that mean? It's a Wella trend, and we've done a lot of research, and the trends are coming not from the big manufacturers of the designers in Paris or Milan. They're now coming from the street through social media and through our community. So I'm going to give her more of a lived-in colour. That's what Insta Vintage means for me. The colours I'm going to be using are within our red range. As many of you know, I love red, and Wella does the best reds in the world. So I'm going to be using one of our newest shades, plus a couple of other shades. Now, she's got a lot of hair. I've already sectioned it off. So I'm going to bring on a good friend of mine, Chris Rosario. And Chris Rosario is going to help me apply my underneath colour. So this is something I would do in the salon. If there's a stylist available to help, it's all about team working together. Or if any of you colourists out there use an assistant, use that assistant while you get the opportunity. So first, the sectioning. I'm just going to turn Miranda around. I'm taking a section, a deep zigzag section, all the way around from the temple area to the temple area, all the way around there. So the majority of her hair is at the bottom. The reason for the zigzag is to allow the filtration of what I'm doing on the top to really marry in and blend in through the perimeter. So temple to temple, all the way round in a U-shaped section in a zigzag. Very straightforward. The first colour I'm going to be using is from our new Koleston Perfect, and it's 7/47, a level 7 red brunette. Now, because she is virgin, I am only going to be going in with our Pastel Developer. Pastel Developer is actually 6%, or it's 6 volume, or 1.9%, but it is the Pastel Developer called Koleston that we mix with our new Koleston Perfect. And I'm just going to simply start applying it from scalp to ends all the way through. Chris is going to start to apply it at the back for me.
Sure.
You know, when our clients are waiting and we have a busy schedule, it's really important to be able to use someone to help. And it's reality, to be honest. So I'm using my wide brush, thicker brush. I'm going to be just applying it at the new growth or root area first. I like to apply the root area first and then go in applying the colour through mid-lengths and ends. So starting on the front. Now, a tip for anyone that's helping you at that point is I'm not a big believer in someone helping on one side and me doing the other. It's very important that the same person does either the front, and whoever's helping can do the back. We all know if we do highlights or anything like that, and you have someone do one side and you do another, sometimes it's not that even. Even someone that you work with all the time, how you angle the sectioning or how you do anything, it really can come out different. So little tip, if you're going to have someone that helps you, get them to do either the back or all the front. So you can see as I'm working through here, the consistency. It's very, very creamy. It's not thick like our previous Koleston Perfect. It really glides through the hair very, very easily. Just applying it here, making sure that I keep it away from Miranda's face, pulling it back away. Always work tidy, work smart, and work clean. That's very important. That's just basic rules, to be honest. It's not new rules with Koleston Perfect. It's always make the client and the guest feel like they're having a premium service. You don't want colour to be falling all over the face. It's just not nice. So working that through.
And I'm just following the same directions that you're doing. I'm just brushing the color through, sort of down almost to the midsection there.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving the ends out.
Perfect. Perfect.
Sonia, we have a question. What is your color formula again? Can you repeat that, please?
Thank you. Yes, the colour formula is Koleston Perfect, new Koleston Perfect, 7/47, a level 7 brunette, a level 7 red brunette, and I have mixed it with Pastel Developer. So if anyone's new to Pastel Developer, it is 1.9% or 6 volume. Great question. Thanks, Sarah. Wow, Miranda, you have got a lot of hair.
She has a ton of hair. Wow.
Now, you can see with my placement that I've started it quite high in my deeper shade. This is going to be my darkest shade that we're going to be using. And I want to let you know the reasons why is I am a huge believer, whether it's fashions or trends or whatever it is, what's the most important reference for me is the face. I always colour according to the shape of face and the skin tone. So I asked Miranda if it was okay to share. Her face shape is a little bit more on the rounder side, so she's a little bit fuller. We all know as colourists, dark colour slims in and lighter tones bring out. So the reason it's so high up here, I want the deepest shade to be falling around the front of her face here, and the same on the opposite side. So essentially, I'm sculpting her face and contouring her face to be narrow down the sides, which will give the illusion of a slimmer look for Miranda. So even though it's a trend, still let's not forget the basics.
Do you want to switch sides now?
Yes,
and
I
I'll
do.
go over to this side?
Lovely. Just going to work that through. One split second, Chris, because one thing I'm very particular about, working that colour all the way through to the ends. Really work it in. Don't just place it on top and just hope the inside's got the colour. Work it in. And it's perfect now because the consistency is a lot creamier. Right. So I want to just do that before I move over. Yes. Oh, another question.
We have two questions. One was already answered on Instagram, and that is how to get great gray coverage. We recommend using Koleston Perfect 20 volume, so that was answered. But another one came up about your personal hair color, Sonia. You know your formula.
Oh, gosh. Yes, the question about my hair color, and funny enough, I get asked about it all the time. And my hair color is, I am 20% grey, so I use Koleston Perfect and the new Koleston Perfect, and I use 20% 7/0 with the rest of 7/3/4 and 20 volume. So in my formula, I use 7/0 and 7/3/4 Koleston Perfect mixed together. The reason I use 7/0 is to really account for the grey coverage, making sure that we have grey coverage. So that's my base, but the reason you're seeing it, and many of you might think, oh, it's really bright for that formula, is I am a huge believer in, I love direct dyes, and I love using our Colour Fresh Create, and I use Next Red on my retouch on my roots, going into Hyper Coral on the mid-lengths and ends. So I shampoo off my permanent hair colour, and then I gloss it using Colour Fresh Create. So that's why you're seeing it quite vibrant. Does that answer that, Sarah?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
And we have another question about our Koleston Pastel Developer, and that is, yes, you can use it with any of our Koleston Perfect shades. So that is new.
Yes.
Previously, it was just recommended for levels 9 and higher.
Yes.
So that was one question that came up and we cleared. And then the other question was, why are you using Koleston Pastel Developer? What was your choice for that?
The reason of my choice with Pastel Developer, which is 6 volume or 1.9%, is she's virgin head of hair. I do not want to go in, and I'm treating Miranda the same as I would a client. When I see a virgin head of hair, I don't want to go in too aggressively with my developers, because when her hair grows, I want it to grow and seamlessly and not have that very strong demarcation line. If Miranda had had colour before, and she's one of those colour junkies, as I would call it, I would go in with 20 volume developer or 6% with my base colour. But I only want 6 volume, if that answers.
That does answer the question. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know, that question brings me back to the reasons why. The reasons why is not to make her look absolutely bright and have all these new colours. At the end of the day, Miranda is in charge of what I want to give her. She's the priority. That's what trends are. Mm-hmm. Trends are not about
making them adapt.
Making them something they're not. Trends are about giving Miranda a first-time colour, and Miranda to be smiling and calling me up in 5 to 6 weeks' time saying how much she loved the experience and she wants to go a bit stronger next time, or maybe keep the same. So for me, she's important. She is the trend for me.
Yeah, it's great because you can really customize it to her, and because this is a new experience, you can make the color nice and soft, or you can make it stronger as time goes on.
That's right, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. So just last section here on the front, working it through, working clean, getting the baby hairs up. Great. So now we've got our underneath applied, underneath colour, pulling it away from the face. There we are. I see a little area here. We have a little bit of colour on her ear, working tidy. That's it. Just turn her around. Sorry. I'm a stickler for working tidy. I am one of these hairdressers. I do not like to see if someone's got colour on their gloves, grabbing the card. I like to wipe my gloves. Sorry, sometimes I have to say, anyone that knows me out there, I work simply. I work smarter than harder, and I don't like mess. I'm very, very like that. So it's important for me. And you know what? That's the part of the experience the clients pay for. So we're putting it on foil, making sure it's not dragging down, and then I'm going to cover that underneath section with a piece of foil. Thank you, Chris. We're going to pop that there because I'm still going to be using that.
Okay.
And our foil, if you could just grab the couple of pieces of foil.
Yes.
Going to apply the foil all the way around, but let's look at it while he's doing that, of what we have. And if you could get me a fresh towel, lovely, thank you.
There you go.
So, turning Miranda round, application, very simple, all the way round, temple to temple in a zigzag. Now I'm going to place a piece of foil on top, adhering it to the hair. Actually, we only need a little, probably half of that, before I start dropping the top down. So the hair's going to be a bit wavy because it's been up in the clips. So I'm going to drop that down. Next thing I need to do is let's just put a little foil on
And
there.
that one.
I'm going to turn her around so you can see how I foiled. Put the foil on. It's just she had an area, her hair is long, so I like to make sure that that's in a foil, so it's all encapsulated with the foil, so we've got no messiness. Next thing, let's see. Actually, let me turn around.
Should I go on this side?
Yeah. So now, how do we do the top section? So here is the formula for the top section, but what's really, really key is I had a discussion with Miranda on where she wears her parting. Very important, colour the hair from the parting. Her parting always falls here. So I make sure that the hair is combed how it falls. So on this top section, I'm going to be applying my base colour, which is the underneath colour, the 7/47, and I'm going to apply it at the root. Actually, Chris, I'm going to start doing this, and if I need assistance, I'll get you to help me, but please stay close.
Okie doke.
So 7/47, applying at the new growth. That's all I'm going to be doing on this top section. This is so that we have a deeper root, which is the level 7, because I'm going to be doing a colour melting technique. In fact, I am going to drop it down a little bit, if that's okay for the camera, and let me know if it's not, just a fraction more. Thank you, I've got the thumbs up from Mr. Bob there. So, applying the new growth all the way through. And I'm applying the new growth to about 2 to 3 inches out to about here. So every section I pick up, I know I only want it to be 2 to 3 inches out. So if anyone's just tuning in now, the colour that I'm applying at the new growth is the same colour as underneath. It is no different. So Chris, I am going to come and ask you, if I start applying the new growth at the front, if you could start applying at the back, my love. So lifting the sections up, applying it. The consistency is really great. And in fact, if I could say a couple of little comments about the new Koleston Perfect as I'm working, is in the salon, I do a lot of grey coverage. My clients in the salon, and I do work in the salon, a lot of people ask me that all the time, but my clients in the salon are probably the same as your clients in the salon. I do a lot of highlights, I do a lot of grey coverage. So making sure that you leave the colour on 30 to 40 minutes is really important. Grey coverage is even 40 minutes and more. So I do get asked that a lot, how long I leave my grey coverage on for. Sarah, you have a question, my love?
We do have a question. And the question is what formula are you using on the top section? One more time.
Yes. The formula I'm using on this top section is the same formula as the underneath, all the way around the perimeter. And it is Koleston Perfect, the new Koleston Perfect. And it is 7/47, a level 7 red brunette mixed with Pastel Developer. Pastel Developer is either 1.9%, if anyone's used to percentages, or 6 volume. The reason for that is that Miranda is a virgin head of hair, and I do not want to go in at her base with something aggressive. So that is the reason I have chosen Pastel Developer compared to using 20 volume. I want, when her hair grows, it to be seamless, that she doesn't have a very strong demarcation line.
Great. And then to follow up with that question, Sonia,
Yes.
just a quick difference of why you would choose that versus Color Touch. Preference.
The question is, why don't I use Color Touch and why I'm using Koleston Perfect? The reason I'm using Koleston Perfect is that with the Pure Balance technology, I'm going to be able to pull permanent hair color through, and it's going to be a flawless result from scalp to ends. I love pulling the new Koleston Perfect through the hair and to get that because of the Pure Balance technology. But essentially, anytime I work in the salon, I am a lover of using permanent hair color at the new growth and demi-permanent mid-lengths and ends. But why haven't I used Color Touch as her base color? Because I wanted to use Koleston Perfect. There's no real difference, to be honest with you, for me. I just want to use a lower developer with the new Koleston Perfect. It's just preference of product. I could do it using Color Touch.
I was going to say, you could do it using Color Touch as well, but I think just because her hair is virgin, then getting that consistency in the color from root to ends with one product would be...
It's just easier.
It's going to work easier.
Remember, yeah, that's true. Yeah. I like to work smarter, not harder. I really do. And this is just going to be a lot easier. So now we've got our new growth color applied. I'm just double checking, making sure that the application and the saturation is really good. Which
back
we
is
have.
All finished, and
all
I spread
good
this
back
all
there.
out through
Lovely.
there.
So now we have the root area done. We are only about a few inches out. So the dry area that's left, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be using a combination of 3 colors. I'm going to use a very technical term, and I'm going to use my little finger, my pinky. If anyone knows me, I don't like to lose time putting tools down, lifting a new tool up. And I'm going to randomly get pieces of hair, and I'm going to make sure we've got all the dry hair there. I'm going to take random pieces of hair, like there's one section, and from that point out, I'm going to be using 3 different colors. I'm going to be using one of them as 7/47, which is the base at the root. So I'm going to apply that first, and then
Do you have this now? Do you need me to?
Actually, you could start doing it at the back,
Sure,
Chris, while I explain to our viewers what I'm going to be doing. Okay. So, going to be doing 1 strand of the 7/47. So there's no color melting here. This is just the same formula from scalp to ends all the way through. Making sure that I work that in through her hair. Then the other 2 colors I'm going to be adding now. I am going to be introducing 2 more colors. I'm going to be introducing from the new Koleston Perfect 8/34, a level 8 gold red. And I am going to be using that with, I have just forgotten the developer. What did I say I was going to use? 7/34. I'm using 7/34. And I am going to be using that with 20 volume. And then I'm going to be using 8/41, a level 8 red ash. And I have been dying to share this color with you. This is the one thing about the new Koleston Perfect. They have some incredible new colors. And 8/41 is one of my favorites. And that is going to be done with 30 volume. So let's retract back so we don't get any confusion. This is just 7/47 from scalp to ends. I'm twisting the hair and just laying it down.
This is an 8/41 that I'm doing back here.
Okay. Next section, picking it up with my finger, just grabbing a section. This section, I've got the 7/47 already on there. Now I'm going to be introducing a new color, and this is going to be color melting, this color. It is 7/34. So what I do, I like to apply towards the ends first, make sure that I have that 7/3/4 applied well there, and then I start working up to where my colour is that I just applied. So applying it, I love using the angled brush. Apply that through, working up to where the two meet, and then I do one of two things. I either use my fingers to melt the two colours together. Remember, this is different to this. I use my fingers. If I use my fingers, I literally just work it through. I am not scraping off or removing the colour. I'm marrying the two things together. That's one way of doing it. I'm going to twist that hair, let it hang down. The other way of doing it is using a dry brush. Always having a dry brush on your cart. So let's pick up another section. I'm going to take, let's say, this section of hair. So 7/4/7 here, and I'm going to add in my other colour. My other colour is the 8/4/1. Apply it on the ends first. So ends, work up towards where I applied my new growth colour. So now the colour melting here, here's another way to do it. You can take a dry brush, and always have a dry brush on your cart, and just blend the two together with a dry brush. That is another way. So we've done one way to do it with the fingers, or another way of always having a dry brush.
I like working with the finger more. It's easier to
It's easier. Yeah. The reason I use my fingers to take sections, it makes it more organic, to be honest, and you're saving time of picking another comb up or another tool. So the other way of applying a colour melt, let's do it through here. So I'm going to go in with my 7/3/4, apply it on the ends first, make sure it's all the way through the ends, then start working up with that formula until the two have met.
I think that's sort of the tricky part to sort of remember, because we're always used to applying color from root to ends, to remember to go from end and work your way up.
Yes. So I've got it through. So we've learnt we can melt like with the fingers, we can melt with a dry brush. The third way you can also do it is by taking a comb and combing the two together. Comb the two together. That will get you a blend as well. Twisting the hair and laying it down. So I'm just going to carry on, but I would like to recap maybe what we're doing for anyone that's just joined us. We have a base on of 7/4/7, a level 7 red brunette with a very low volume developer. It's actually 6%, or Pastel Developer. Okay, then through the mid-lengths and ends of all these sections that you can see, and there's going to be more, I'm either taking, one section is taking the base colour through, the other sections are introducing two new colours, 8/4/1 from the new Koleston Perfect, a level 8 red ash. The other one is 7/3/4, a level 7 gold red. So you can see we're going to have variations of different tones of reds and coppers, but always integrating the base through to the ends. Yes, Sarah?
Sonia, we have a creative question here. So let's say that Miranda comes back and she would like to repeat this look. How would you refresh the color? How would you go about that? Because your sectioning is a little bit more organic.
Yes. For refreshing the colour, I'm just going to do a couple here, Chris.
Do you want me to do this side? Finish
Yes,
this side
please.
for
To refresh the colour, excellent question. When you think about it, she comes in and her roots have grown. So she's going to come in with a new growth of an inch, couple of inches, however long she decides to leave it. You just refresh her new growth with the 7/4/7. So it's a root application for the new growth. Mid-lengths and ends, it's so easy. We have so many different products within our Wella range. I could refresh it with relights, a 1 copper of relights. I could refresh it with demi-permanent color touch. I can refresh it with Color Fresh Create, because what you've got the base of the different depths. Refreshing is just adding vibrancy and tonality back. It's not adding depth to the hair. So you've got your base. So Miranda comes in, I apply 7/4/7 at a new growth, and while her new growth's on, I would go in and do one of our demi-permanent or semi-permanent colours, because she's already got her hair coloured through the mid-lengths and ends in a permanent way.
Great. Thank you for sharing all these tips. Everybody's loving what they're seeing.
Good. Okay. So now I'm realising I've done a few of colours up here that are the other 2 colours. I feel the one around her face here, I'm just going to do the same colour as the base. So this is going to be being the 7/4/7, just applying. So colour melting, I do want to say a couple of pointers. I get asked this question all the time, especially from our Wella peeps, is do I use colour ID? I am not using colour ID in here because colour ID is a colour separator. And if I want to melt colours together, it's not something I need. Melting the colours, I do not use colour ID. I get that asked all the time. The other thing I want to mention in all the colours is in all these formulas, we have used our Wellaplex. I am a massive user of Wellaplex because for me, it keeps the integrity great. It's another add-on for our clients. And I like to explain to the clients the reasons for using Wellaplex. Yes?
You're at 30 minutes. But Sarah's got a question.
Perfect.
Great. It's not so much a question, although we do want to get everybody excited. So we have a Wella contest going on, and we would love for all of you to leave your best red hair color tips in the comments on Facebook or on Instagram. And we're going to pick a winner before February 9th,
Ooh.
and they can win a Wella Koleston Perfect color opener worth $250 US.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
Wow, that's amazing. That's fantastic. Did you hear that? Yeah, I'm sure you did. That's lovely. So just working through, my favorite for melting is my fingers, because you heard that I don't like to pick up too many tools. So I'm going to go ahead and color melt the 2 together. And melting permanent hair color, not a lot of people use permanent hair color to melt, but because of the consistency of the Koleston Perfect, the new Koleston Perfect, it melts beautifully and flawlessly. I think we've got our last section here. Let me just check. Yes, perfect. Perfect. I'm going to use my level 7, apply it to the ends, work through, make sure it's saturated. Really, really get that saturation. How are you doing, Miranda? Okay?
Doing great.
Good, 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 good.
Sonya, let's turn Miranda a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, 1 split second now. Perfect. Ooh, it's a bit messy there. Can't stand seeing that, sorry. Perfect. So I'm just applying, making sure, opening the hair up, making sure that saturation is all the way through. So just to recap for anyone that's joining here. We're talking about color melting. We're using the new Koleston Perfect, and I am using 3 colors here in the strands. I'm using a level 7 copper. I'm using a new one, 8-stroke 4-1, a level 8 red ash, and then the base color is 7-stroke 4-7. So working that through. I will say the reason I absolutely think the stroke 4-1s in our new Koleston Perfect are incredible for the new leather red technique and Insta vintage trend. They really are, because they're not the vibrant copper that we're used to, that I've always known. The stroke 4-1s are a really beautiful soft red. They really are. It's almost as if it's the type of red they've had a few washes, lived in, more like a natural, something that feels as if that's got that vintage film on it, that old-fashioned, as if it's been around for a while, and it's just been there. It's still classy and elegant, but it's had a little bit of wear. So let's see, let's make sure. So pull that up. I'm just going to turn Miranda around so you can see the application. So we have underneath one formula, 7-stroke 4-7 with Pastel Developer, which is 1.9% or 6 volume. And then I can already see your eye colors starting to look great with the developing of it. And then through the top here, we have just integrated pieces of a level 7, 7-stroke 3-4, a level 7 gold red with 20 volume, and then 8-stroke 4-1, a level 8 red ash with 30 volume, mid-lengths and ends. And I've just twisted it, let it develop. Well, you don't need foils. Just twisting it and keeping it separated is great. The one thing I'm just going to check now, I'm going to leave this to develop from 30 to 40 minutes. I'm going to check after 30 minutes and see how it's doing. It might need a little bit longer, but it is on virgin hair, so I have gone in with a low developer. If she had already previously colored hair, I would be using 20 volume at the new growth, especially if she had a few grays, but Miranda's way too young to have a few grays. So just get that nice and clean. Just going to see how much longer do I have?
Really quick questions on your technique, and just clarifying, when you're twisting, you're not using a lot of tension, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
When I'm twisting, I'm not using a lot of tension.
And also, are you doing that just to keep yourself organized?
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's just habit. It's habit for me to twist the hair around the finger. I've seen it where people take straight pieces. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The more organic you are, the better. It really is. And it's just personal preference to me. I like it. One thing I do like is away from the face. It just keeps it organized for me. And actually, it's not just that. When clients walk into the salon and they see something like this happening, it causes conversation. Oh, what's she having? What's Miranda having? That looks really cool and different. It's all about presentation. Absolutely. So it doesn't matter what you do. The one thing I would say, I would definitely not put it in foils. It's too time consuming. You see that it's just quick and easy. Thank you, Sarah, for that great question.
And just one last one. The foil is just used for you to separate your base formula from the bottom,
Yes.
from the top technique.
The foils are underneath to separate the base, yes, because we're using a level 7 underneath, and I don't really want some of the levels 8 and the vibrant copper to touch it. Yes, it's just for separation. And again, it's all about presentation, cleanliness, and things like that. Any other questions?
We don't have any other questions coming
Oh.
through, but a lot of love. So a lot of
Oh,
heart.
a lot of love.
A lot of love.
Love loves. That's so cute.
We do have one more. Is the contest open to Canada? Yes, it is. So that value is $250 US dollar, but it is open to our Canadian friends up there. Hello.
Oh,
You're probably
wow.
really cold right now.
Oh, wow. I think with
sunny
the
here.
exchange rate, I think the Canadians, isn't it less Canadian dollars to the dollar? I don't know, but that's a good deal. That's fun. I am going to just double check on her new growth. Yes, that's great. Now, a very quick thing I would like to mention is you can see the oxidation process. With the new Koleston Perfect, I'm finding with some of the reds, it may look a little bit like lavendery, purpley, deeper in the oxidation process. No fear. All you have to do is scrape it off and you will see it's just perfect. So I like to share that with clients because if they're used to our new Pure Balance technology in the Koleston Perfect, this is one of the things that does happen. But you will see she's going to look incredible. I am done. Am I done too early? I can tap dance or I can answer more questions. Yes, so just to wrap it up, Miranda is going to be going off camera and we're going to let her to develop between 30 to 40 minutes. And then we are going to be posting her finished picture on the Facebook Live. Oh, we're going to be posting her picture in the comments. This is a Facebook Live. I am in the Wella studio in Calabasas in California, and this Facebook Live is for the Cosmoprof. And I am very honored and it's my pleasure to be sharing the Koleston Perfect, new Koleston Perfect with you. And please, the new colors are incredible. I'm sharing with you our leather red inspiration from Insta Vintage, but please try out some of the other new colors. They're incredible. They really are. So look out for a finished comment and finished picture. Sorry, not comment. And the other thing is we're going to be giving Miranda a new little haircut, all for the shape of her face. So here's Miranda and her finished look. Quite a transformation using our wonderful reds from Koleston Perfect. So what I did, I gave her soft face framing because remember she was growing out her fringe area. So we did face framing around the front and then gave her some soft layers, but beautiful shine, our gorgeous reds. 3 shades of reds from the new Koleston Perfect. And I think what's important to see is that it's really brought out her eye colour. It's given her a new fresh look, a little bit of a trim shaping up. But I think she looks a whole new person. And obviously, beautiful shine, beautiful conditioning, and something a little bit low maintenance for our lovely Miranda.